And now it's time for the big finale, challenge 24. This was a long journey, but we're almost there. And before this challenge was released, I do remember Chris Dale asking the participants on Discord what are their guesses, what's going to be the last challenge, and I immediately thought that it's gonna be a Log4j one. Some other folks were guessing SQL injection and stuff like that, but it's 2021 December, and pretty much everything is about Log4j or Log4j, depending on how you want to pronounce it. I'm going to pronounce it Log4j, so there's a caveat there for those of you who are pronouncing it differently, but it's a really fun challenge. I managed to dodge most of the Log4j madness, but eventually it caught up to me. And I don't mind it. So it was very important for me to take a closer look and better understand what this whole thing is about. And this challenge helped me a lot on understanding it and do an actual exploitation of Log4j. So let's take a quick look at the challenge. And this is going to be a fairly complex one. Initially, I was hoping that I could get away with just using Gangrok, which with the paid version of it, I could have done, but instead I decided to set up a quick VM in Azure. It doesn't really matter where you set up your VM. It just has to be out on the internet, accessible from everywhere. Or if you have your home network and you want to reconfigure it, that's also a good alternative. But the idea with this attack is the attacker has a malicious server where the victim system will connect to, and it's going to send the payload back to the victim. Now, if we scroll down to the challenge itself, the title is The Watcher. I'm not sure if it's an MCU reference or anything like that, but it's probably just referring for the logging part. And the challenge says, we have found a service that watches our every step. Are you able to figure out how we can read the flag, all uppercase, from the environment? So it's probably going to be an environment variable on the box. NB, not sure what that means. Container will be restarted every 30 minutes, so we better hurry up because the next restart is in 21 minutes. And if we visit the site, all it says is be careful, I'm logging everything, so it's probably another hint for looking for Log4j. At this point, I decided, okay, I have seen from, I think, Silent Signal folks, if I'm not mistaken. So shout out to them for the Burp Suite Pro extension. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna check quickly in the Burp App Store what is available. And yes, indeed, that was the extension. So I quickly installed it and run a scan against the server. And sure enough, it's reporting it through the collaborator messages coming back that this is vulnerable to Log4 shell, or the vulnerability in Log4j. That this is the dubbed name, and you can see the CVE code as well. And we see that there are many callbacks from the server after we did a quick scan. So that being said, we need to prepare a couple of things on our attacker side. And I used the sysdig blog post here to learn more about the vulnerability. I also have a detailed step-by-step walkthrough on exploitation, so you can see here how the attack works, and that the attacker hosted server needs to be up, and it's going to send back the exploit payload the vulnerable server. They're using the GitHub project that was originally released. So there's the Jindy injection exploit jar file here, and this is the one that I also used. And they explain here their vulnerable application, how they trigger the vulnerability. So here the actual trigger is in the cookie value, but I think they also had other headers that can trigger the vulnerability in their vulnerable server. For us, if you look at back in the scan results, it seems like that the user agent string is vulnerable for the attack, the log4 shell attack. So that's what we're going to use. And we also have to set up a listener when we will have the shell coming back to us from that server. The reason why they're probably resetting that container, as I figured out later, based on the host name at least, I think it's a container, is that it's an active exploitation attempt. So they do an automated reset. So with all that, I went ahead and downloaded the jar file on my little server. Let's see which one is this. I think it's this one here. So I have here a very small Ubuntu server running in Azure. The reason why I chose Azure is because I have an MSDNA professional license and I get $50 every month to use. So that way I don't have to pay extra. But if you want to use probably a free tier AWS server is sufficient to do this, or DigitalOcean, Lionel, whatever you have, those ones will give you some starting credit as well. So if you just sign up for the service, you can do this without spending really a dime. And I installed Java, of course, and I downloaded the jar file. So after that, you can just fire up the exploit. So you need to start the jar file, and there are a couple parameters that you need to pass on. This is the actual command that we're going to execute, hoping that Netcat is available there. So we're going to shove a shell back to our attacker server. So this is the address of this server, and I am going to hit enter on this. This will set up all the necessary servers, an LDAP server to trigger the vulnerability, and a Jetty server that is going to an RMI server as well. These are needed to send back the actual payload part. And now I try to remember which Java version I exploited. I think it was version 8. I'm going to try this one and save this. The other thing I need to, if it fails, then I'll just use another one. And the other thing we need to set up is a listener here. I'm going to use port 8080, but it doesn't really matter. So this is the same server, just a different window. And last thing that we need to do is trigger the vulnerability. I do have here the cur command or the prepared, and all right, so I'm probably just going to need the random string that they have. And as you can see, for the different versions, the exploit generates different random strings for triggering. And I'm going to just paste on what's on my clipboard. Let's double check. Actually, I think I can position these windows in a way that allows us to watch what is happening. Might be a little bit tricky, but just verifying if everything looks good. I think we're good. So let's give it a try. And we're going to just make the request here. We get back the response like previously. Looking at here, this looks pretty good. So we see a connection for the LDAP server coming in, and then we're sending the exploit payload from the Jetty server. If all went well, if I do now something like post name, it gives me back the name of the container. So we successfully exploited the vulnerability. We still need to get the flag though. Let's do the usual stuff though. We have 14 minutes left before the next restart. So who am I is root. Current working directory is / and the challenge says that you need to have the flag from the environment, so probably referring to the fact that this is an environment variable here. So let's just do env. And down at the bottom, we do have one variable set for the flag, which seems to be a base 32 string. I think this part is not needed, so let's just grab this part here. And I do have CyberChat prepared here already, so let's just drop it in the input. And it doesn't pick it up that it's base 32 for some reason. No problem. Base 32 from base 32. Boom, there it is. There's the flag. Let's submit this to have a full solution. So verifying it says this is the correct flag for day 24, and we are done. This was the last challenge, and I had a ton of fun going through these challenges, making these videos. Especially the last one was a real blast, but I really enjoyed the RSA one. The JSON web tokens ones were really cool as well. Just these are the ones from the top of my head that I'm probably going to remember for a long time, and the things I learned there. So overall, I think this was a great little challenge. These challenges are really meant to last for maybe an hour or so something that you can do during a lunch break even, and I think it's really fun building up to the point where you have this last challenge here that was a little bit special. So I highly recommend everyone checking out. Hopefully this will stay up for quite a long time. I don't think that it's a lot of resources that is required, so I'm certainly going to ask the reverse security folks to keep this one up and running for a long time, because I think everyone should try this one out. And hopefully next year they're going to have something equally fun for us. But that's all for these video series. I'm going to now start uploading everything to YouTube so people can watch it. And yeah, thanks for hanging out. Hopefully you watched all the videos. If you haven't checked them out all, then make sure that you check the rest of the videos as well. And if you like this, I plan to add more and more of these video walkthroughs or write-ups in the future. So stay tuned for more. But I'm going to wave goodbye now, and hope to see you next time in some other place, whether it's real or virtual. Bye!